Father's Day.
Yeah.
So this is the perfect day for me to reflect on my father and how he always wanted to be white. And that's why he had slaves. My dad was a registered sex offender. Hold your applause. He only did what he loved. Little 15-year-old girls. My dad was the worst thing since Quagmire on Family Guy. Excuse out. You know, he even had those girls like write me letters, and I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? You teaching them how to write? I think you need to leave these girls alone, Dad, because, I mean, you know, I'm 19, these girls are underage, you know, that's a felony, and as old as you are, that's like 37 times as bad. You know, but he didn't listen to me, and so, you know, a couple of months later, my cousin's calling me, telling me, you know, your dad's in jail. I'm like, what? They had a manhunt for him. They had canine dogs after him, the SWAT team, helicopters after him, and I'm like, imagine seeing your dad running from the police on cops. And I wish I could have seen him. I wish I could have seen him, because I would have called him right on the spot. I'd have been like, hey, Dad, how you doing? Are you busy? It's a bad time? You're like, Jay, I'm a little preoccupied right now. I can see that. Dad, you're on TV. You're a star. You know? And you calling to tell me that you love me? No. I'm calling to tell you I told you so. Click. You know? So, I mean, the conversations that I had with my dad were pretty awkward. Like, you know, it took them a while to catch my dad because he was fast. He was very fast. He used to be a professional football player, a kickoff returner. So, I mean, it took him a while to catch him. In fact, he used to call me and brag all the time about how fast he was. He's like, Jake, you know, how you fast? You beating those white boys at school? And I'm like, you know, sometimes they get me. You know, every now and again I get beat. It's like, well, I never let those white boys beat me at school. I said, well, Dad, that's because you were running for your freedom. It's not that you couldn't let them beat you, it's that you couldn't let them catch you. It was Florida. So, I mean, you know, but the conversations I had with my dad were terrible. I mean, sometimes I would just have to go off on him and say, Dad, you were never there for me. You can't tell me what to do. And he was like, G, I have a long distance bill that says otherwise. Now, I mean, I had to make a hard choice. You know, it's one of three things. Either I could pay child support, be there for you, or, you know, make these long distance calls. Now, what makes more financial sense to you? You know, and you need to tell your mother to take these collect calls because, you know, I'm just calling from the house. I'm not calling from jail this time. You know, so, I mean, but, you know, I had other weird calls with my dad. Like, for example, when I was 12, my mom took in her older sister, my Aunt Glenda, and her two daughters, my two cousins, because they just got through a divorce. So they all moved into my mom's room, and my mom moved into my room. And so for a year, I had to share a closet, had to share a bathroom with my mom, got my extra figures next to the toiletries. And we slept in the same bed again for a year. And so, you know, even my dog was female. So my dad was like concerned with all the estrogen like in the environment going on. So he gave me some weird phone calls like, Jake, you ain't in the closet playing with your mama's dresses and wearing the stiletto heels, are you? I'm like, no, I'm not wearing stiletto heels and nothing like that. He's like, you do like women, don't you? Yeah, I like women. You like, you having sex? I'm like, no, I ain't having sex. I'm 12. It's like, well, Jay, if you ain't had sex by the time you're 15, I'm gonna fly you to Amsterdam and I'm gonna buy you some. And I said, click. You gonna fly me to Amsterdam, but you can't pay child support. That's the ticket I'm not trying to cash. You know what I'm saying? You know. So, but my dad, that's just how he was, man. He was just different. I couldn't take it personal. He was just one of those people that he was involved as much as he wanted to be involved. Like, take my older brother for instance. He died at birth, and you know he shall remain nameless because they never gave him a name. They just donated his body to science, to the medical school that my dad was going to. And they, you know, they said, well, you know, sir, thank you so much for your son. but please be advised, we cannot take him in lieu of your medical school loans. You will pay for your schooling. That's right. You know, you could give your firstborn son, but you will have to pay these loans. And that, my friends, is modern day slavery. My name is James Whitaker. I had to apologize.